to listen to them. You just have an open mind and have an adventurous spirit and just go for it. If they tell you to jump, then basically your response would be, how far do you want me to jump?
Gotcha. Now, you hit on a important note to me. How responsive is your average high school coach about what they might consider their attitude, excuse me, their athlete getting outside training outside of the school? Have you found that they've been against it, or are they for it?
Most coaches that are open and understand that they're great football coaches, sometimes maybe they haven't had the physical background training, they will totally accept someone like me coming in from the outside or you helping those kids out. There's no question. Then there's some coaches who are very protective of their athletes, and at times I have found some to be protective from ignorance, not knowing what we have to offer. Some people say, oh, they just do speed training, we're doing the lifting. And then some people, of course, think that they can do the work, and then they offer some information that sometimes I see training that's just ridiculously ineffective, or techniques are totally wrong and they're doing more harm than good.
Right. Now, Yarrow from Nike just walked through my shot and is walking back through my shot again. But anyway, okay. So on that note, yeah, exactly. So on that note also, do you find that your average high school athlete is somewhat unrealistic about what kind of athlete he is? Like, you always hear high school kids saying, well, I ran a 4.4, I ran a 4.5. Have you ever seen a high school 4.4?
Oh, man. You know, Oliver, we time today. We use electronic timing, and a 4.4 is really left for the superstar blue chip talent. There's so few kids that can run that fast, and you have to understand that the people who run that fast are guys that are getting paid in the pros. That's why they're paid, because they run 4.4, 4.3. Some of these times are unrealistic. It's tested on a hand, and it's hard to believe it. I mean, these kids are not that they're not good athletes. I think that the times are a little bit just false times. A little bit generous from their coaches or coaching staff. It's best to have someone like us legitimately time them electronically so they know how they stack up for real.
Do you think that your opinion may be more qualified, say, if you were talking to a college coach as opposed to, say, his high school coach or his strength coach? Do you think a college recruiter may be more likely to believe someone like you than a college coach?
Well, I'm a certified strength coach from the National Strength and Conditioning Association. We're like the legitimate professional agency that controls and directs strength coaches nationwide. If you want to work at a university, you're not going to get there without a CSCS certification like I have. They just won't let you in the pro ranks, it's best to have something from a national academy for a certification. But of course, if you are a former pro football player, you have shown that you have the goods to train people, they will let you train in a professional ranks without having the CSCS. But generally, it's unacceptable to not have that in a collegiate setting. And of course, so any pro coach, pro athlete, or collegiate coach, if he sees that I'm certified strength coach, will likely more or less have faith and credibility in me, because I'm a professional coach. I do it with I've signed a creed, I follow certain guidelines and rules, and I'm supposed to be a trained authority in these things, so I have to behave in a certain level, and that level is pretty high.
Now, what about the high school athlete that's afraid of the cost? You know how it is in high school. I mean, you don't have much money. Your parents might not have much money. What can a kid do on his own, or can he come to someone like you and try to work something out in order to, put himself where he needs to be?
Of course, it comes at a price. I have to pay for a significant amount of equipment, and I have to have some form of payment. But typically, coaches, we help people. That's what we're doing this for. So I can't imagine that I would turn someone away because it's money. I think most coaches would agree. We'll at least help you a few times and just say, okay, buddy, you can do this on your own. Here's what you can do to take care of things on your own. Or give them a website to go to. But generally, you can almost get in to see professional help for free at some level. There's always free clinics. I have free clinics here all the time. I have one this afternoon. So it's possible to get in here, but yes, typically there's costs associated, and you should be paying somewhere between $15 and $25 per session to train with a group, depending on how many are in the group and depending on the facility.
Great. That's a great segue. How does somebody get in touch with you?
tpsportsperformance.com. Just give me a shout. Come on the website, look up TP Sports or the Bo Jackson Dome on Google. It pretty much leads you to us.
Thanks, Tom. And more from the Armchair Quarterback in a minute. Thank you. Alex Brown, very nice to meet you. Real quickly, we have a lot of high school athletes that always wonder what pro athletes do in the off season. Is there an off season, and what do you do to get ready for the upcoming season?
There's not really an off season, but the main thing I concentrate on during the off season or during the time that we're away from football and not playing during the season is eating what you put in your body. So you don't gain weight, and then it's better to to stay in shape as opposed to getting in shape. So you take a week and a half, maybe even 2 weeks off, but you need to get right back on it. And it's almost like a 50-week-a-year thing. And you get 52 weeks out of a year, you take a 2-week break, and let's keep going.
Now, as far as when you were in high school, how much extra training did you do outside of your football program to prepare for your upcoming season, and then transitioning to Florida? How much did you do outside of what the coach or the trainer told you to do?
Well, my dad was he was nuts. He wanted a lot from us. I have 4 brothers, 3 older, so they were able to help me along the way, my 3 older brothers, and let me know that, well, this right here helps, that helps, and I had that drive to actually go out and do it. I didn't need anybody around for me to go work out or to go run stadium stairs or something like that. So I didn't need people around. I was very self-motivated, and I still am. So I did a lot outside of what we did at our, I guess, facility. But our coach was. He was pretty strict. He wanted us to do what he did, but if you did something else, he wanted you to tell him and let him know. But I did quite a bit.
Okay. So you agree that along with athletic prowess, it's also attitude.
Yes, absolutely. I think that's what it's all about. It's about attitude, and I think Bo talked about it earlier about having tunnel vision and understanding what you want and understanding how to get there. And what's not going to help you get there, what's not going to give you the best chance to achieve a certain goal or something like that. So it's not hard. I mean it's very hard. I'm sorry, it's not easy. It's not rocket science. My dad told me, my dad always would tell us that if it was easy, everybody'd be doing it, and everybody's not. So it's not an easy thing to do. It takes a lot of dedication. It takes a little bit of luck. So it's rough.
Being that you're an athlete who's come back from some significant injuries, how important is your training in recovering, your ability to recover?
Well, most of my injuries have I've been able to play through them, and then I'd have surgery in the off season. But those are the things you have to really concentrate on in the off season, because you need to get that back up to par, if you want to say, because if that's not up to par, then you're going to hurt something else, or you might re-injure that particular muscle or particular ligament or whatever. You're going to re-injure it if you don't get it back up to par. So and then you also got to get everything else even a little stronger, because you got another young kid coming up behind you, and he's looking to make his name in the league. So it's always it's an ongoing process. You can't stop. The moment you slow down, somebody's going to take your spot.
Alex, thank you very much, sir. Good luck this season. How you doing? Oliver Gibson here with the Armchair Quarterback with NFL and Major League Baseball legend Bo Jackson. Bo, you spoke up there about how important attitude and focus was to obtaining your goals. What do you think made you different about your tunnel vision and how you trained for 2 sports?
Probably, I have always been in the position of where my worst fear was failure. So, and I knew that if I didn't do what I was supposed to, as far as concentrating and just being a good kid, and if my mom found out that I was doing something that I wasn't supposed to, she would have come down to college and beat the crap out of me, man. In college.
Okay.
In college. And I guess the main thing with that is that you're going to be an athlete, you need to carry yourself like an athlete on the field and off the field, because you represent so many people in so many ways, from the standpoints that I wouldn't want to go out and do something and embarrass my teammates, my coaches, and especially my parents, my family. So I was always to the point where I'm going to try to walk the straight and narrow path. Now, don't get me wrong. I wasn't no angel, but no one was. But I knew my limitations. I knew what not to do. I knew that in order for me to be successful on the playing field, I had to be successful in the classroom too. And a lot of people don't put the 2 together, but you can't have one without the other. So I learned at an early age that hard work pays off in the classroom and on the playing field.
So attitude is everything, and
Everything.
that last name that you represents more than just one player. It's your family.
There you go. You're absolutely right.
Mr. Jackson, thank you very much, sir.
Come on, let the war start. I come to shut it down. The way you make the game. Let the war start. I come to shut it down.